first up this morning, living life with purpose and meaning. Our next guest says it is a full-time job that's unpaid, but the benefits are worth it.
Yes, he authored this book, Iam CXO, Now What? And we're pleased to have Dan Burnett join us this morning. He's going to explain what a CXO does. So good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Dan.
And I'm hiring if you're looking for an extra job. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
As you said, it's unpaid, but
yeah.
The benefits.
It's the best kind of job, right?
Right.
What is a CXO? You know, when we hear this, we know CEOs.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And it's kind of a play off of that C-suite level position, CFO, COO, CEO. So a CXO is a Chief Experience Officer, and at its core, it's taking ownership. It's being the officer over the experiences that other people have with you. People have experiences with you, you know, either way, good or bad.
All the time.
So why not make it a good experience? And you know, so it's kind of a fun play on a kind of a workplace concept and a job description that many people have. And so in the book, I wrote a job description for a CXO, and it's something that's relevant and accessible to people.
There are some experiences that I think we anticipate are going to be negative. Is it your theory that you can turn even an experience you think is not going to be so great into something that's positive?
Sure, that would be the hope, and part of the fundamentals of being a Chief Experience Officer is that you own your choices. So in this role, you do have a direct report, if you will, somebody or something you supervise, and that's your choices. So a Chief Experience Officer gets to choose the types of experiences. They get to choose if it's going to be positive or negative. They get to choose if it's going to be, if they're going to be happy, if they're going to be sad, if it's going to be positive, negative. It's about the power in choice.
Is it that easy? You know, a lot of people will say, that's great in theory, you know, but really when I try and do that, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it is not easy. Certainly easier said than done, but in my experience, it's life-changing. When you can develop the habit of being in charge of your choices and taking ownership of your choices, it can transform your lives. And in turn, it transforms other people's lives, which is really what being a Chief Experience Officer is about.
Can you give us an example of an experience where a Chief Experience Officer would sort of take control of it and make a decision about how it's going to go?
Yeah, so something that happened to me not too long ago. So I have a son who's going to be graduating high school soon. He's going off to college, and you know, as a dad, I've been thinking about, have I done enough? Have I been preparing him? Is he going to be successful? And I had a young lady, a high school student, who was with me on a mission trip last summer, who came to me and said, unsolicited, and said, you know, your son is really doing things the right way. You know, he's a good kid. He's someone I should pay attention to. He's got good. I can tell that family values are important to you. So she was a chief experience officer to me in that case. Yeah. She didn't know that I was struggling with the feelings of, have I done enough to prepare my son to be an adult? But she was that life-changing person for me. So, and it's usually done through easy things. They don't take a lot of time, don't take a lot of money. But that and that's kind of the hook to all of this is by. So my dad always told me that people will remember you for who you are as a person, not what you do for a living. And so the more that we can try to impact others' lives in a positive way, it in turn then adds more purpose and meaning to our own lives.
Well, and one thing I love that you say, because I think this leads to happiness when we're congruent with things that we believe. You say as a CXO of our own lives, we report to our own values.
Indeed.
And I think that that's an important concept, is this, the choices you make, the decisions you choose, the attitude you bring forth into the world has to be congruent with your values. And if it's not, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And there are values for a reason. It's something we have identified that's important to us. And if you have a value, whether it be honesty or compassion or mercy, love, whatever it might be, yeah, you report to those values, and you should live in accordance to those values. They are your guiding principle, and I totally agree. When you don't do that, it creates some dissonance in your life. Was
there anything just real quick that you learned in writing this book that you maybe didn't expect?
Yeah, so just aside from the, so I like to say that I always wanted to be an author. I just never wanted to write a book.
Was it the fear of people reading it?
It's just hard, you know. I would write a couple of paragraphs or maybe a page and then just put it down. It was hard, but so I guess aside from the message of the book, what I would say is anyone out there, any of your viewers that are feeling like that whole message about you can do anything that you want to do, or you can make your dreams come true, and maybe feeling like that's for the other guy, I would say that you can do it. You can set up a plan, you can have discipline, you can have big dreams, and you can believe that you too can do anything that you want to do.
I think that's cool. Very positive too.
People can pick up a copy of your book by going to your website. Iam CXO. Now what, right? DanimateOnline.com is more. It's available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Westbow Press. Westbow Press as well. So there you go. Visit that website for more. Thanks so much for being here, Dan.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for sharing. We appreciate it.